So firstly, obviously, welcome to Xtreme Lean. This has been through loads of different trials and tribulations over the last 6 years. We've started off as an 8-week plan. We realised people were doing quite well in the 6 weeks, so we shortened it so they could focus better. Then we realised they're doing all right in the 4 weeks, so we shortened it again. What we come to realise, although they were getting the same sort of results, or pretty similar, they didn't have that time to build the habits, and they were just falling by the wayside after it. So for us, it was great because we could show off about these awesome results, but long term, they were just dipping off, and that's not good long term. So we moved it back to 8 weeks. It used to be coach the process. So this is the process, this is what everybody does. Now it's more personalised, and we're coaching the person, not the process. So everybody's going to have individual needs. We look at the consultation forms. When I ask you what you normally eat, if someone's telling me they're having 7 takeaways a week, 10 cans of cider, I wouldn't put them on a plan. I wouldn't get them to even start eating healthy. I would just do 5 takeaways for a little bit. Nip it down to 5 cans of cider, because the more alien you make it to what they're already doing, the less chance I've got them to stick to it. So why listen to me? I've always struggled with my weight, even despite owning a gym for the last 10 years. I had all the tools, I've done all the courses, nutrition, training, I've done bodybuilding shows, photo shoots, but it was like a magic trick. I could get in really good shape, but then within a month I was fat again. So I had to delve a bit deeper to what's the missing ingredient. It obviously isn't the lack of knowledge, and unless I find that missing ingredient, anyone who does my plan is going to be the same. They're going to get in shape, lose it again. So I started something called the High Performance Coach 12 months ago, and that is a guy who's called the Coach's Coach, and there's 140 world-class coaches in there who's got a coach. And it sounds mental, but as you start coaching people and you're taking on other people's problems and helping people, you let yourself go and you go by the wayside. So everybody needs that accountability. And one of the biggest things that I've gone through with them was my self-image. I run 3 businesses. I have 2 kids under 4 that don't sleep. So when I'm sort of standing here telling people stuff, I'm not 21, I'm not living with my mum and dad, I've not got no responsibilities, I've got the same as everybody else. I think sometimes people can preach to people. The worst one I ever see is everybody's got the same 24 hours in the day. They haven't got kids. The job involves like 15 hours a week where they're just sat in bed most of the time. As them responsibilities start coming in and you're paying bills and you're worrying about stuff, yes, you've got the same 24 hours, but what you're doing with it is a lot different. So for me, the biggest thing that I've changed is my self-image. And for the last, this will be month 13 now, I started 2 weeks before Christmas last year. Well, last year, yeah. And people would be like, why have you started 2 weeks before Christmas? I was at the point where something had to change. I was going to Asda. Every time I went to Asda, I'd get a pack of chocolate cookies, 4 chocolate eclairs, 2 vanilla slices, and I would eat them in 5 minutes when I go home. I was coming in to train despite owning a gym. I would start, and then I'd feel guilty and think, I need to be doing something for the members, I need to be doing something for the staff. And I was probably training once every 2 weeks, even though I own a gym. So it had to start then, and a lot of the stuff that I've learned through that I've now put into this process. And the biggest thing for me is the self-image. Everybody sort of gets into their head who they are, and it's validated by people telling you and backing that up. From the age of 1 to 7, it's your parents that you influence. Anyone who's had a really bad upbringing, it's hard to change that self-image because it's ingrained, because it's the first thing that you know. After 7, it becomes your friends and people influencing you. That stuff's a little bit easier to change. And as we get older, the beliefs are less, so it's easier to change. You'll get a lot of people who start every single diet going, and then their self-image becomes that person who starts every single diet going, fails it, and then other people start commenting on it, and then they'll start it just waiting to fail because that's their self-image of that's what they're going to do. The best people that we have come to the gym and change their life are the people who change the self-image. The biggest time you'll have seen it is when we leave school. Like at school, no one changes the self-image because you get bullied, you get hammered, you want to fit in, you just want to get, you want to survive, you want to survive school. After school, you see massive changes in people because they're away from that pressure and they become somebody else. The person they wanted to be, they were too scared to do, that's what they become. So I'm going to ask you some deep questions. You don't have to tell me the answer, but this is thinking about where you are now. So I'll give you some examples because the worst thing in the world is to get a sheet and somebody just fill it in. And it's like, what does that mean? So we're going to start with environment. So this is your physical environment. So where you work, if you work, home environment, anywhere else where you spend a lot of time. Digital environment. So do you spend a lot of time on social media? Whereabouts are you spending it? Are you just scrolling aimlessly? Are you looking in certain groups? Are you just looking at friends, kids and commenting on stuff like that? And then we're going to get relationships and then your real friends, like your physical friends that you can see. Just think about, are you happy at work? For me, my office was an absolute tip. I just thought I was a busy person, so my office should be like that. But I'm spending most of my time in there, outside of my family home. And subconsciously, that was probably draining me energy. Now, everything's immaculate. So it's like thinking about that type of thing. Where are you living? Are you happy there? And for me, it was trying to, knowing there's loads of odd jobs that need done and stuff like that, and stuff that's going to play on your mind and burn your energy, eat into your energy, stuff like that. Who are you listening to on social media? Are you getting information from there? Are you just using it as how it should be as a social platform? People around you, who are you knocking about with? Who's your friends? What's their sort of influence on you? Because all that adds up to, if all your friends are going on the drink every weekend, that's going to be something hard that you need to sort of plan for. And for me, I was scrolling aimlessly through social media and I've got attention deficit disorder. So as soon as I click on a reel and it's like just shit and I can't get off them. And it's like sucks me in and I know I should be getting off, but I can't. So it's like going forward, we're going to design the future you. And for me, it's like, how do I stop doing that? A lot of the time when you're doing something like fat, people say, oh, I haven't got time to meal prep. I haven't got time to come to the gym. When you look at your screen time on your phone of the shit you're watching, it's like you have got time, but you're either not prioritizing or you're just getting sucked into that vortex. It's being aware of it and managing it. So when I go home from work now, I've got 2 phones and one of mine was, everybody had access to my phone, the papers, council, the councillor, everybody. So it was just constant. I had all my social media, all my crap on there. So now I've got a separate phone. So when I leave the gym, I have a separate phone. At first, I didn't even have the staff in it. The WhatsApp group, I have WhatsApp with just my closest family, 5 people. But then I got guilty. I thought, this is my gym. I should have the staff in, but I've added myself into the staff WhatsApp group with my other number, but they don't know the other number type of thing. So they're not going to give that number out, but if there's an emergency, And then as part of this, I've said, look, that's just like, it's not for crap. You know what I mean? Like sharing a picture of something in the gym, like a dead bee or something. It's like, if there's a problem, put it in there. So behaviours, what you're happy with, and what just isn't serving you well. So for me, I was procrastinating a lot. I was putting stuff off. I was putting hard stuff off, putting the hard conversations off. I was probably not getting outdoors as much as I wanted, a bit of fresh air. I was smashing cans of Monster. I was at 5 or 6 cans of Monster a day, which I knew wasn't good for me, but I was just doing it. Sugar. When you took my blood sample, they'd been like Haribo positive because that's all I ate, Haribos. Again, this comes down to the self-image. Everybody knew that and they just laughed about it. Even though I owned a gym, They'll buy me Haribos and stuff for Christmas and birthdays. It becomes a running joke. Like, oh, Lee loves sweets. Lee's office is wrecked. Lee's car's absolutely scruffy as hell. The more people laugh about it and accept it, it becomes more ingrained and more acceptable. And my car gets worse because I'll just put stuff down for the crack for when they get in there. So behaviours of when it comes down to meal prep, are you planning your week out? Are you just grabbing as you go? Are you smashing loads of coffee? Are you drinking alcohol a lot? That's the behaviours that aren't serving you well. What you say and what you do. With my attention deficit, I'm very good at coming up with creative stuff, but it's the following through of the boring, mundane stuff. A big thing I've took on board now is to be consistently good, not occasionally great. And when I look back at my life, business and my physique, everything was that. I could smash 8 to 10 weeks, get shredded, look great, but then I could be crap for 4 months. Even on this 8 weeks, if you're 80, 90% good the whole 8 weeks, you're going to get better results than being great and 100% for 2 weeks and then fading away. Try to keep that sort of ethos in. And what I always say is, like, this is the start of your journey. 8 weeks, it's like we get out of shape over years, we get unfit over years. We literally jump on a plan thinking, right, I'm going to get where I need to be. And we'll go on to planning in the next slides, but don't just plan for this 8 weeks. What's happening after the 8 weeks? What are you going to push yourself to do? And I'll show you my plan for the year. Capabilities. So what's the skills that are going to help you with this? Are you a good cook? Are you into your training? Are you into exercising? Do you like going outdoors? Do you know where the good walks are? Have you tracked calories and stuff before? Are you any good at it? Stretching, mobility, how mobile are you? How flexible? And communicating as well. I think communicating is a really good skill to have, to ask for help and make sure you're getting the best from the plan as well. And values. These come from what your priorities are and they feed into your values. So these are always going to be shifting. And for me, my priorities at the minute are longevity. I want to live longer. My daughter's 4, and I was cuddling her the other day and she was like, I'm too old for you to cuddle me now. I was like, Sienna, I'll be cuddling you when you're 30. And she was like, if you're still here. I was like, what do you mean still here? She was like, well, in case you die like Uncle Howard. Oh, Jesus Christ. But when she's 20, I'm going to be 60. She's got a point. If I'm not looking after myself, I'm not doing the best I can, that might happen. You don't know. So for me, longevity is my priority. Being there for my kids, watching my kids grow up, being fit and healthy. My priorities when I was 20, I wanted to be the biggest person on the planet. At no cost to my health or anything. That was the most important thing. Now, health, longevity, joints, making sure that I can move and I've got strength in it going forward. You see a lot of people when they retire and they will literally just stop doing everything. And as soon as you stop using your muscles, they'll just disappear, because the last thing your body wants is muscle. It has enough to do the jobs that you're doing with it. And we get a lot of women joining the gym and, oh, I don't want to get really muscly and muscle bound. Solid. To build that muscle, once you get going, you'll laugh at that phrase. But from the outside looking in, people say these big women walking out like that, they're taking steroids, they're assisted. So they've got hormones that you guys haven't got. Some of the best results we get is people who've had heart attacks and strokes, because they're literally coming in and fighting for their lives. But you'd be surprised how much they forget. Once they get a bit fitter and stronger, they forget why they're doing it. So always reminding yourself. A lot of people start here because they started with type 2 diabetes. They get rid of it, come off the medication, but a year or two they forget that they've done that, and then it'll back to the habits, and they'll go back. And then from that, we build your identity. So who are you? Are you a pushover? Are you lying to yourself? Are you happy with who you are? And a lot of people take identity for what they look like, but it's how you feel as well. What's your energy like? For me, when I first done this, My identity was the lad who smashed monsters, cakes, takeaways, chocolates. I was accepted because people liked me, but I owned a gym, and I probably knew I shouldn't have been doing that, but I did it anyway because it was accepted. And I think in society now, there's a lot of people picking at people on social media, but if you've just got close people around you, sometimes their kindness is worse than the people picking on you. No one just said to me like, look Lee, you're on a gym, should you really look like that? Because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So that then comes into your identity as well. What I want you to do when you go home is just sort of reverse engineer that. Who do you want to be at the end of this? Do you want to, like, Jill, one of the success coaches, she's doing strong woman competitions now. And she started with us 5 years ago because her husband told her she was fat at Centre Parks. She'd never done any weights before, and she's smashing it because she's got this new identity. She wants to be strong woman. She's meal prep king, just meal preps, and meal prep is a massive part of it. To be planning to have that stuff there, because everybody has bad days, and you can have every intention of, oh well, I'll get up early in the morning, I'll make stuff, but stuff happens, and if that's not there, then what do you do? So some of the key things are meal prep, and what I tell people to do with the meal prep is, rather than just say, right, I'm going to do it every week at a set time, just do it when you can and get stuff frozen. I'll literally, like, I'm off today with the kids and Emma, so there's loads of dead time. Blake will go to bed at 12 and I'll just cook loads of stuff, and I'll probably be an hour or two in the kitchen, and I'll probably have like 20 meals in Tupperware dishes, and I'll put them in the freezer, and then as soon as I start running a little bit, I'm aware of it, and then when I get another bit of time, but I've tried saying, right, every Sunday I'm going to do it. Sometimes I'm just knackered and you don't want to do it. So now when I feel all right, I'll just top it up and just keep topping it up. Put the calories on there, put the date on there, and veg is probably even better, like for lasting. Setting yourself standards, like minimum standards. These can be how many times you come to the gym, how much water you're getting per day, how many times you're going to go out in a month, how many takeaways you're going to have. Setting yourself a standard of, because ultimately these are treats and we have to see them as treats. The people who get the worst results are the ones that are sort of like, how much crap can I fit into them calories? And I used to be a massive believer of, if it fits in your calories, it's fine. And from a fat loss point of view, it's probably right. If you're having 600 calories of chocolate, 600 calories of chicken or potato or veg, it's the same thing, but it's how it makes you feel. Nick, who works for me as a vegan, his diet's the worst in the world because he smashes vegan cakes, vegan bars, vegan chocolate. Everything that you probably wouldn't have, he's smashing. Yeah, he's saving animals, but it's like there's healthy ways of doing stuff. Like I said, I went from having like the 6 monsters, I just stopped right away as soon as I joined, and then probably about 6 months into it, I seen one in the fridge, and habit, I just got it out, cracked it open, and I literally drank a mouthful of it, and it just tasted like chemical. And I poured it out and I haven't touched any. From a health perspective, I haven't noticed a massive difference with my health from not having it. I think I sleep a little bit better, but I didn't feel like a massive change like I thought I was going to. I cut sugar out for 3 months and I felt amazing. And I think with that, I sort of said to myself, right, again, I set standards, so I'm going to cut it out for 3 months, but if I go out for a meal once a week, I'm going to have a pudding, and I'll go to the golf club, it's just easy, and every week I would have flapjack and custard. As soon as I got home, I was farting like mad, I was on the toilet, I was hot sweats at night time, and I couldn't sleep, and that was off one pudding, and I think of how much sugar I was putting in. So now, doing that, that's made me very aware of what goes in my body. So I used to be probably 60% good stuff, 40% crap, maybe more some days. Now it's probably like 97%, and my body is that finely tuned now that I've had to stop drinking cans of Pepsi Max. Like I used to have like 4 cans of Pepsi Max a day. Now when artificial sweeteners in my stomach, it zaps me energy. So I think that the disadvantage is once your body's primed and it's working how it should be, anything that you do put in there, like Christmas was bad for me because obviously I picked 3 days where I was going to just do what I wanted and it hammered me. But it meant the days in between where I'd normally just sat and picked chocolates, I didn't do that. But I think setting them minimum standards of, right, even if I feel like crap and I can't be bothered, I'm tired, I'm still going to try and get to the gym twice a week. And the exercise of getting in the car and just driving here, it keeps that habit up. As soon as you're not coming in the car and coming, it gets harder. And we've had people who's been here for 10 years, and if they have any length of time off, they get anxiety coming back. They know everybody here, they know the layout, they know all us lot, but they're still anxious. So just getting in the car, coming and keeping that routine. At the times when we feel the worst are the times that we probably should be coming, the times we should be drinking more water, the times we should be having a certain amount of fruit and veg. But it's the times that we pick and we grabbing crap and we're having coffees because we feel dehydrated instead of water. So setting yourself some minimum standards and then working towards them. With the steps, you see a lot of coaches say do 10,000 steps. That's great. If you can do 10,000 steps a day, it makes my job easier because I'm not cutting your food as much. But sometimes we'll get people on who's doing 3,000. And if I then tell them to do 10,000, they'll maybe do for a week or two, but then they're going to burn out, or they might just not have that time to fit the 10,000 in. So what we'd normally do, if it's decent level, we say, well done, keep it at that. If it's a little bit lower, we'll probably increase it by maybe 1,000 or something like that. And it just means you're a little bit more active, you're thinking about it a bit more. And most people, when they start something like this, they become more active anyway, because they feel better, they've got more energy because they're drinking more water and they're training. So you'll naturally probably do more exercise anyway. Asking questions, the ones who get the best results are the ones who just constantly ask questions, and we find they'll probably ask questions for 2 weeks and then they know everything. And if you've never tracked calories before, if you've never done training, anything like this, obviously you've done it a while ago, it's something different. And if I went into somebody else's job to try and do their job, I wouldn't be able to do it without asking. And the ones who ask the more questions are the ones that learn and do it. It's like when you're doing Weight Watchers Slimming World and millions of different things to take in, points and sins and all that type of thing. But with this, once you get calories, it's not like a points-based system that you'd have to do forever. Everything's got calories on. So once you're aware of what's going in your mouth, you can then just pick and choose from the supermarkets. You're not looking to see sins have changed and what points stuff are. It's just calories. A lot of people, it's portion control as well. And once you sort of make it and you think, all right, I was probably having way too much pasta, a little tiny bit. Consistency, like I said before, consistently good, not occasionally great. Just get through it. If you're not doing everything 100%, it doesn't matter. You're probably 300% better than what you have been. So we just build on that and we get better as we go, 1% better every week. So there's 3 nutrition approaches. We've got the meal plans in there in the different books. It'll probably look confusing. There's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. What we used to do is sort of release it in a phase. So first 2 weeks, you get phase 1 recipes. What we've done now is just put everything together so you can just click in them and pick and choose. If you never tracked before or you're uncomfortable tracking, I would get the meal plans, pick 3 days that you liked, meal prep for 2 or 3 days of the same thing, repeat, then get another plan, meal prep, repeat. When you're doing it, try and get some stuff frozen for when you've had bad days and try not to deviate from it too much. As we go and you become more confident with it and portion sizes, then you could sort of have a look at changing stuff out and we can show you that as well. There's a freestyle option where if you tracked before, to be fair, I'll tag you in the videos that are in the group. I'll tell you how to set we recommend NutriCheck. So you'll have heard of like MyFitnessPal. NutriCheck is easier to use. There's less crap in there. So everybody can upload something to MyFitnessPal, where NutriCheck is their database where they check it, certify it, so everything's correct. MyFitnessPal, it's like, could click on something and it was like 4 times less the calories than it actually is, depending on who's put it in there. Then there's a hybrid sort of style where you can grab the meal plans, plan your day out. If you don't like one of the meals, swap it out for some equivalent calories. With calories, you'll notice in your welcome guide, I've got your daily calories and weekly calories. In one of the videos, it'll show you how to track weekly calories, because we're gonna have good days and bad days. And as long as them weekly calories add up, it's perfect. We've had one lass, she went out every single weekend, which I'm thinking, like, if you're doing something like this, have a go at it, put some effort in. But she went out every single weekend, but she saved calories. She wasn't having many for the week, so she must have been really hungry. And the danger of that is, if you're going out making them pig of yourself and you're saving too many, you get hungry and then you're in the biscuit cupboard. So it's a balance with it. And again, even when you go out, we can make better choices. Pizzas are my Achilles heel, so I'll just have one a month now rather than one every week. And when I was getting them, I was getting a 12-inch portion of fries and a chicken kebab as well. So now I'll maybe get a small pizza, and Emma will get a chicken kebab. I'll just have whatever she leaves. So it's just making better choices. Support, this comes from your friends, your family, your colleagues. I would tell everybody that you're doing this. The more people that know about it, the more they're not going to try and sabotage you. Some people will, but not maliciously. And again, what I say is, like, if you've got events planned, just keep going out, just go out on them, plan your week for them, because the more if you become a monk and say no to everybody, they'll resent it, and they'll just try and knacker your diet and get you out, because they like you the way you are. But again, better choices when you're going out, planning ahead. If you know you're going to Zest or something, fire in the WhatsApp, go to Zest, what do you reckon's best? And usually it's like a chicken meal or a fish meal. I say to everybody, like, no one's a nutritionist, but you'll be able to write down what you've been eating and tell me what's crap. You know what I mean? So it's trying to have less crap, more good stuff. Save your crap for when you're going out, your social occasions, stuff where you enjoy. Most of the time at night time, we're just sitting, stuffing our face with rubbish because we're bored. And it's like, if you know you're going out on a Saturday for a nice meal and you're saving them calories for that, it gives you something to look forward to as well. So again, long-term plan. This is 8 weeks, which is nothing. It'll fly in a blink of the eye. You'll get to the 8 weeks and you'll be like, oh, it's finished. Well, it sounds like quite a lot from at the start, 8 weeks, but it will literally fly in. So set yourself some realistic goals for the 8 weeks. If you do what we say and you stick to it and you try hard, I would say it's set up to drop you £2 a week. So 16 pounds over the 8 weeks is quite a realistic goal. If you know you've got some events coming up, you maybe got to say 14 or 12 pounds, because you might slip a little bit. But trying to set yourself a goal so you've got something to aim towards. It's like anything, we've got no goals, financial, family, career, we do nothing, we just sit. So having that goal, but then after that, it's like, what's next? And we get some people starting the gym and it's like, I need to lose 8 stone. Great, but it's not happening anytime soon. So like I said before, 8 weeks set up the way we have, 14 to 16 pounds, so that's a stone. So I need to do that another four times. So plan it out. And what you don't want to do is just be on a constant diet, because that's no fun and you'll end up resenting it. So I would say do the 8 weeks, try and become more active, learn from it, continue it, try and get stronger in the gym. Maybe have a month where you're not tracking, you're just sort of eating better, training harder, exercising more, maybe getting out for some more walks. Then, right, I'm going to go again. I feel ready for it. And you'll have an understanding of calories to be able to just say, right, I need to get back on that calorie. You've done it already, you know it works, and then you're on it. And then maybe do it for another 4 to 8 weeks. And then it's like, right, scrap it, eat, enjoy myself, a couple of weekends out, blah, blah, blah. And I would do it based on anything you've got planned in. So if you've got a wedding planned in, a christening 1 month where they're both on the belt end, that's the month where I'll just be maintaining and enjoying my training and just watching what I eat. Yeah. Obviously, you've got a holiday coming up. You would have a good blast before your holiday, and you use your holiday as your bit of your maintenance, and maybe a week after it. But to be fair, you being on a holiday, you'd probably be quite happy to get back on it when you finish, depending on how well you do. So again, variety. So getting that variety in, different types of training, train for different things, and then challenges. Try and challenge yourself. We do a lot of challenges in the gym throughout the year, just to keep people focused and engaged. We've done like a bingo challenge through Christmas, December to keep them, and they have to like tick off little things they've done in the gym, and just do stuff like that. Anything we do, just jump onto it. So this is mine for the next 12 months. I've not run since I was 17 when I joined the parachute regiment, and I hated it then. I ran to get in there, and even when I was in there, I hated it. So I'm going to do a 5K in February. I'm doing the Carlisle Urban 10K in May, and then I'm doing a triathlon in September. By that time, I probably lost loads of muscle. So up until Christmas, I'm going to do like a muscle gaining phase. And then January comes, I'll probably do a New Me weight loss. January is a nice time to do weight loss because everybody's doing it. So it becomes the norm where you're sat there eating healthy. Normally, everybody's like, "Ooh, why have a donut?" And you're more of a freak for eating healthy because you want to eat a donut. That's true. It is. So I'm not just going to say, right, I'm going to do a triathlon in September and I'm just going to jump in and run. I've got a plan. So at the minute, I'm doing 2.5 minutes run, 2.5 minutes walk for 30 minutes. That's all I'm up to. By the time the 5K comes, the running time gets longer, the walking time gets shorter, and I'll be able to do a 5K. Then once I can do 30 minutes continuous running, I'll start just increasing the minutes, do my 10K, and then once I've done my 10K, start doing the cycling and swimming. So that's my whole year planned out. And then I micro plan the months, depending on what the goal is. So I would do that for your journey. What you want to do, what you want to focus on, get it in. First 8 weeks is this, then what you're going to do. Because we finished the last one. The last one we've done is the best one we've ever done. But they're all dead shy, so none of them really wanted to tell anybody. I managed to get 3 of them to do a video testimonial, and they were awesome. But like best results I've ever got. They've all made friends. They've all like smashed it. In the group PT sessions, I started these back for lean, but when they'd finished, they were like, "Can we still do them?" So there'll be some of them in there. So they've been through what you've been through. So there'll be good people to ask questions. Good resource, and you can see how keen they are. Grace, who started, she's 66. First session, they were all like in each corner of the room, like stood here like that. And she was like, "Oh, I've got sore knees, I can't get on the floor, I can't lunge, I can't really squat." And I'm looking at thinking, what are you going to be able to do? And obviously we just gave different exercises, do this, Grace, do that. And she started coming to my Metcon class, which is a harder class. It's a bit more higher intensity on the heart and stuff, smashing it. And she hasn't missed a week. The rest of them, through Christmas, I think they've done 3 sessions where they all sort of like communicated and got in and done a session together, and then they all just dropped off. And I'm messaging them like, "Look, all that hard work," there was like, "I've still kept the weight off because we've got their better habits in, but I just can't find time." I was like, "I bet you can." But Grace has just been right the way through, honest. And she's now doing burpees, which she told me she couldn't even get on the floor. but she'll try stuff and she'll do it. So anyone who always says, oh, Metcon looks a bit hard, and it is hard, but Grace does this. She's 66, she's got knackered knees, and as soon as I say that, they can't not come. But like I say, after every class, I was like, I could make this easier, but you're not going to finish thinking, oh yeah, I feel I've accomplished something. You know what I mean? The group PT's a bit easier because you're just doing the weights and you're working your muscles. It's a bit more like relaxed. With mine, you're working hard for 10 minutes, bit of a rest, 10 minutes, bit of a rest, 10 minutes. But again, you just go at your own pace. So support and accountability, you'll get stacks of that from us. Obviously, you've got a success coach. They've been through multiple leans. They all walk the walk and they've changed their lifestyles. Asking questions, like I said before. Check-in every week. Check-in needs to be done on a Friday before 1. Try and use the same scales and same time, and then that gives me time while I'm still at work to get everything done. Because once I get home and something happens with the kids, I want to be consistent with it. I want to get that feedback back. Then you lot can go and shop and you know what you're doing. You can meal prep and you're ready for the week. Honesty is the best policy. I've had loads on who've just been dishonest, and they'll check in. They've told me they've stuck to plan, and I know they definitely haven't, because I can tell. I can tell by the results. I'm not daft. There'll be a few exceptions to the cases where your body might be adjusting, going through menopause. It's going to maybe take a little bit to get rolling. I think we had 3 going through the menopause and 1 perimenopausal last time, and it took a bit to get kick-started. But again, it's when you're setting your goals, set how you want to feel as well. Exactly. And like, one of them had a meltdown, and I had to like give her a hug and that. But it was like, if you're used to going Slimming World or Weight Watchers and you're used to getting weighed and everything's sort of centered on that figure, I can see why people get upset. But when you're doing this, we're building our muscles, we're changing shape. Make sure you take some photos yourself, measurements, and then if the scales aren't moving a bit, take some more photos, look at them, compare them, and there'll be a big difference. And this lady, like, the quality in the skin, her confidence, it was amazing. And I could see that, but she's not looking at that because she's looking at the scales. Yeah. Enjoying the challenges. Week 4, your motivation will start to dip a bit, which is normal. So we'll start putting some challenges in and just mixing it up a bit so you've got something to aim for the week. And that's when I say the 8 weeks goes quick. Once we throw them challenges in and you're trying to do different things, it flies. Yeah.